Throughout the journey of life, we encounter struggles that prevent us from reaching our fullest potential. But this does not have to become our reality. Join me as your goal achievement strategist on a life-changing journey as I talk with various guests on how to experience breakthrough and obtain massive success in the 8 dimensions of life. Discover the power of living life purposely, joyfully, and gratefully with the Rise Above Show with Patricia Jo Grover.
I can't wait to introduce you to today's guest. Welcome to the Rise Above Show. I'm Dr. Patricia Jo Grover, and today with me on the show, I have Kimberly Lechnick. And let me tell you a little bit about Kimberly. She is a passionate love coach, and she's dedicated to empowering professional women to embrace their self-worth and thrive in their relationships. With years of expertise, she offers personalized coaching that blends insights and insightful guidance with practical strategies. Kimberly helps clients uncover limiting beliefs, cultivate self-love, and enhance communication skills, enabling them to create fulfilling relationships. Whether you're single or navigating the challenges of finding that special person, she supports women in their transformative journey to unlock the love and happiness that they deserve. Ooh, welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Patricia Jo, for having me here today. I really appreciate it. It's lovely.
And so everyone, Kimberly is here with us in the emotional dimension of life because the show, I have guests that come on in each one of the dimensions to help people with different areas they might need help with. So, oh my goodness, again, what you do is such a beautiful thing. Oh, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there yes. We go. So we're going to move right into one of the first segments I have on the show is this Grammy doesn't knit, she cliches. So I want to ask you, can you remember a word or a phrase or adage that might have been used with you as a child, that may have affected you negatively or positively? And if it affected you throughout, maybe you didn't know what it meant when you were a child, but then as you grew up, you're like, oh yeah. Is there anything that you can share with us?
Absolutely. So my grandmother, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and I remember this one specific instance where there was something going on and I felt a little slighted. And I started saying something that I wanted to do in that time, and I believe it was around 11 actually. And she said to me, she's thumbing through her drawer and she says, just do it, just do it. And that, her voice and those words resonated with me, and it actually sent me a deeper message that if I really wanted to do something, there was no one that was going to help me do it. I needed to do it on my own. And so that definitely is part of me. And again, I really honestly believe it was my growth mindset that took it in a positive way, because it can definitely be taken the opposite. Like, oh, you're not paying attention to me. I told you something and you're not responding to it. But for me, it meant love. And it meant that my grandmother was telling me that I really had everything that I needed inside of me and that I could do anything.
Yes, yes. The words, the reason why I do this, Kimberly, is because the words that we use with other people and children when we talk to children, as well as the words that we use when we talk to ourselves, even if we don't verbalize these words, they are so powerful. So thank you for sharing this with me and our viewers and listeners. Thank
Absolutely
you.
A pleasure.
Yeah. So I have questions that I can't wait to ask you because your topic is so wonderful. So, Kimberly, what are some common challenges professional women in their 40s and 50s face when they're balancing their personal relationships with demanding careers?
Oh my goodness. What are we not facing?
True.
What are we not facing? Well, let's talk a little bit about those challenges. We're balancing, as women and men too, but women specifically, we're talking about today, we've got a lot of plates spinning. We've got a lot spinning in the area of both personally and professionally. And so personally, it's definitely our relationships, and the relationship, you said it right, Patty, it starts with ourselves, right? So really having that time when we're balancing those personal and professional demands, is really important to have time for ourselves, have time for ourselves. That self-care is so important. I know we hear a lot about it, but it's so much more deeper than that. So definitely self-care. Definitely self-care.
And I work with clients a lot on these types of things too, Kimberly. And again,
Mhm.
I teach that self-care is not selfish. It's actually maintenance. We need
Yes.
to maintain our mindset, our where we are vibrating at, because
Mhm.
how we are and what we're giving off as energy also balances out what we get back. So that is key.
Absolutely.
That is key.
It really is, Patty. And, if I could just interject just a little bit more, you
Yes.
know, a lot of times we're programmed, right? We're programmed to believe that it's selfish, right? As women, long before we were here, our parents were here, our grandparents were here. I mean, it's just programmed in generation to generation. But I think now we're coming out of that. And we're really understanding that it is a necessity. It is an absolute necessity. I don't think twice about some of the things that I like to prioritize for self-care. I don't think twice about it, because if I don't have the strength and I'm not centered, then I can't take care of my family. And I certainly can't go out into the work world and present myself authentically.
Exactly, exactly. And we have to have that tenacious spirit to say this is for me, this is my time, my space, and have it in our planner and calendar, and
Mhm.
and guard it. Guard that, you know, religiously. Like, this is my time. This is what I'm going to do, something for myself. And don't put anything else in there. And that's what many women do. Oh my goodness. So Kimberly, you talk about helping women embrace their self-worth. How do you guide clients to rediscover or strengthen their own sense of self-worth?
Oh my goodness. This is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, and it starts with self-reflection. I was having these conversations this past week, and a lot of people, men and women included, but women specifically, have difficulty sitting in silence, right? I don't know about you, but I just want to use a personal antidote, right? I remember when I was first trying to prioritize this, just sitting in silence. It was so difficult. I didn't want to be alone with myself. And you have to ask, that begs the question, why is this? Why don't you want to be alone with yourself? You're best friends with yourself first. And then that came, out of that came more personal development. Of course, you're unpacking, like, why is it so uncomfortable? But definitely sitting in silence and doing that reflection. And when you do that reflection, what ends up happening is you learn about yourself in a deeper way. It can be through meditation, it can be through journaling. A lot of the gentlemen that I've worked with in the past, it's been showers, it's been golfing, it's been trying to meditate, right? And starting with just 1 minute. So it's that self-reflection. And then from that self-reflection comes doing a needs assessment and identifying what your needs are. Because you know what? We're talking a little bit about that generational legacy, right? And how we've been programmed for people pleasing and all of this, right? But how many women are out there actually writing down, what are my needs? Do I really honestly know what I want? And you know what? This is not about judgment. This is about we're prioritizing everyone else and everything else. We are giving ourselves the space to sit down and do that needs assessment. So it's doing that needs assessment. And then after you do that needs assessment, it's then prioritizing relationships that are nurturing to you. I think that is just so important. Who in your life fills you up? And if you don't have those people, again, this is not about judgment. This is about identifying what kind of people do I want to welcome in? What types of people do I want to spend time with? Who nourishes me? Right? And I just want to say this here too, for your listeners. Our partners, they don't give us everything. They just don't give us everything. And if you go into a relationship without that self-reflection, without that needs assessment, and without reasonable expectation, then you can go into a relationship expecting that that partner is supposed to give you everything. Again, just like the people pleasing and some of the other things. These are things that were programmed into us in a romance novel. And that's exactly what they are, romance novels. They're not true. It's not realistic. Either is that Instagram, ladies.
I hope the viewers and listeners are getting something out of this. What Kimberly does with what she's doing as a love coach is really getting down to the nitty-gritty of getting to know yourself so that you are loving yourself and treating yourself properly so you're ready to take on that relationship and find the person that's going to be able to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. Oh, so wonderful. Well, we will come right back. We just have to take a break to hear a word from our sponsor. So we'll be right back.
Entrepreneurology is relatively a new field of study that focuses on entrepreneurship as a discipline. It encompasses various aspects of entrepreneurship such as business strategy, innovation, creativity, risk management, leadership, and more. The primary goal of entrepreneurology is to equip entrepreneurs with the skills and knowledge needed to successfully start, grow, and sustain a business venture in today's dynamic and competitive business environment. Entrepreneurology is a discipline that seeks to understand the art and science of entrepreneurship with the aim of providing entrepreneurs with the tools and knowledge they need to build successful businesses. Don't settle for traditional academic programs that don't recognize your real-world experiences and potential for success. Join the education revolution in entrepreneurship today with...
And we're back. Oh my goodness. Today on the Rise Above show, if you're just joining me, I have Kimberly Lechnick with me. And she is a love coach. Ooh. And she's sharing some wonderful things about how she works with clients. And I have more questions because this we need, we all need to hear what she's got to say, because the first person we should be loving is ourselves, right? It's all about us and so that we can have our love fulfilled, right? To be able to make the most out of it. So, oh my goodness, Kimberly. Okay. How can women build a deeper emotional connections, both personally and professionally in their relationships? Are there any key practices or tools you recommend?
Absolutely. I'm going to start out with professional. Mix it up a little bit. So for professional, it is about being intentional about expressing appreciation. For me, I don't think there is enough time in the day if you have to schedule it in, if you have to do a timer, to do it intentionally with the people that you are working with. Saying thank you, saying, what, I'm really grateful for the time that we spent together. I really appreciate you. That goes a long way because we don't know what others are dealing with.
True.
We do not know what they're dealing with. So that little bit of gratitude, because you have to remember, if you have that gratitude practice, and again, this goes personally too, but if you have that gratitude practice, your cup is overflowing. And when your cup is not overflowing, then you just go back to square one and you look at how you're taking care of yourself. Have you missed a step, because it happens, right? You get, something new introduced to you, that you're balancing, another plate to spin. And then you're like, uh-oh, what happened to my gratitude practice? So just keeping that top of mind. Gratitude is so important. Professionally, well, personally too. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Patty, if you could help me get back on
Okay,
track.
professionally, your gratitude practice. So, and we're talking about those emotional connections, both personally and professionally in relationships.
We want to go back again to what I was speaking about a little bit earlier. We want to go back and we want to look at that self-reflection. We want to look at the practices like journaling. We want to look at meditation. Again, keeping that flowing. And if you're like me and you're creative, maybe you're adding something in like gardening or dancing or exploring your creative self. That's so very important because when you're able to connect with yourself first and you know yourself, right? And you continue that relationship, that is a game changer. So that when you are prioritizing your relationships, you can be present. You can take a breath. And the subject and the topic comes up a lot of times about overwhelm, like how do I deal with conflict, right? How do I deal with conflict? How am I showing up in that space? Because it's inevitable, right? And it can be overwhelming. I know for me, someone who has come from a trauma background, I always have to be mindful of my patterning because sometimes a little bit of that sludge, tend to say, a little bit of that sludge from our old patterning can kind of get stuck in there. So if you're like me, and you tend to get overwhelmed in conflict, what you can do is you can take a deep breath. You've got that needs assessment. And you can prioritize intentional time with a person, it's a loved one, a partner, or a loved one in your life. And you can start and just do step one. If you have to step away, it's okay. It's okay. You get to determine what the rules of engagement are. You get to determine what those rules are. And then you can take a breath and maybe come back to it later. Because some of this stuff is heavy. Some of it's heavy, again. And we've got our patterning, that has been laid a long time ago. That's what makes us human. But really, again, self-care needs assessment, reflection, doing creative things. It all matters.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful information, Kimberly. It goes back to us being able to be comfortable with ourselves and spending that alone time with ourselves and thinking about all the things that you just brought to the table, right? With that. Some of us have no issue with that alone time with ourselves, and whether it be in deep going deep within ourselves for shadow work, or also for meditation, for anything else that we're doing. Some of us don't have as difficult a time, but other people do struggle with that. So that's there's no right or wrong to anything. It's just what is comfortable for you, and maybe working your way towards being able to be more comfortable with being with yourself. Oh my goodness, yes. So, Kimberly, so in now I want to move on. So, in what way does emotional well-being impact success in business? Because I know I have my answers to that, but I'm curious what you say. And then, do you have any success stories where personal growth translated into professional breakthroughs?
Yes, I want to answer that first. I want to answer that one first because I love it. So I had a client who took the time to walk through these things. She took the time to self-reflect. She did that needs assessment. And she really connected in with herself, really making sure that she had space to prioritize that self-care. And that gave her the confidence. That gave her the confidence to go out there and request a promotion, but negotiate, right? Negotiate and achieve a promotion. And, for me, that is a huge win because that's important. And a lot of times we're thinking these things are external. We're thinking they're external when really, honestly, it starts internal. There's things that are going on. And when we're running 100 miles an hour and we don't have time to breathe, again, we're susceptible to some of these old things creeping up and coming up for us. So really, I was so happy to celebrate that with her, that she was able to get that promotion. Again, it just a boost of confidence and knowing that she could walk into that office and get that promotion. There was nothing stopping her, because we know what that is, unless we're dealing with those limiting beliefs, really, and exploring that, then freeing ourselves to, stand in our power.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's always nice to hear when something happens like that for people. Oh my goodness. So, and that does, and that talks about the emotional well-being impacting success, because if she wasn't in that right place in her mind, right, that right spot, and vibrating at that level, then she wouldn't have had the gumption, right, to go and do this, to put
Yes.
herself in even into that position.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just so important. We do this work. It's all about the personal development when we're doing it. And it doesn't have to be giant leaps. It's not about that because it's a journey. It's not a destination. And I know that's a trite, phrase that we hear all the time, but it truly isn't. And when we're intentional about it and saying, "Oh, wow, I woke up and it's like, what growth do I have in front of me?" Because we live in an abundant world, and that's where the power base is, inside of us. What are we going to do today to be better and to spread love and kindness out to others and be grateful, be in a state of great gratefulness? And everything is for you. Everything is for you, even the mess. I'm telling you, and that's where my laugh comes from because I have to laugh about it because why not be joyful?
Exactly, and that's what I talk about all the time, Kimberly. My initials are PJG, and I choose to live my life purposefully, joyfully, and gratefully. And it's where, if you do three little circles, it's my own little Venn diagram, my own three little circles, it's where they meet in the middle. That's that sweet spot. When without question, you found your purpose, but you're living in it, and you're so comfortable in that space. So you have joy because you can connect to that, and you're grateful for everything that you've been brought into and through to get you to this point. And something I just was sharing about, actually, I think it was this morning on my Good Morning Risers video, was about when we can connect our, right, our, where we are with our morals and values, and we can connect our morals and values to our passion and purpose. That is just such a blessing. That is so, it's so hard to put into words, because it is a blessing when you can be able to do that. You
It
know,
is such a
it's so
blessing.
fulfilling. It is so fulfilling. So thank you for sharing that, because it does really make a huge difference. Another question I have for you, Kimberly, what advice would you give to women who feel stuck in their personal relationships and and but don't know where to start to make changes?
Mm, you know, I don't know what the statistics are because I don't have them in front of me. But as we're talking here today, Dr. Patty Joe, I'm thinking of the health ramifications of what it means for us women specifically, if we don't prioritize our personal development.
Yeah.
Start there. Start looking within and know that you have everything that you need inside of you. This is not a trick. That's not like your next door neighbor or that person on Instagram has something that you don't have. We're talking humanity, and everyone has the skill set inside of them. So again, going internal, start there. Go internal. And sometimes, again, it's sitting in silence, it's gardening, it's walking, it's doing that. Do whatever works for you, but go internal. Journal, right? Journal and write it down. And if you don't like writing it down, there's some technology is wonderful. There's apps. You're running, you're going for your run, take out your phone, download these apps that you can record yourself on and journal into your phone. You don't want any excuses. You want to get out there and you want to do it, but start exploring yourself internally. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer. And you might think, well, I do that. No, I mean, really do it. You may start out with 1 minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm saying make it a consistent practice. Start there, and then we can talk about what you can do next. At another time, but start there. It's big. It's big. And I don't want to be overwhelming to your listeners, but it's huge, right? It's not about sitting in the forest and just picking flowers, although forest bathing is an excellent way to be in reflection of what's happening internally because nature is speaking to us, but it's what works for you. But start there.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, Kimberly. Such wonderful suggestions and ideas, and I could not agree more. It all starts inside us. We all have, God has given us all our individual gifts and talents, and we are as unique as the iris of our eyes and our fingerprints, every single one of us, and everyone brings value to this world. So I want our viewers and listeners to take note of what Kimberly shared with us, and reach out to her if you really want to develop a better relationship, in relationships anyway, period, right? Oh my goodness. So Kimberly, I have had below us your LinkedIn address, but can you share that with the viewers and listeners?
Absolutely, Dr. Patty. It's LinkedIn. I mean, you can just find me by typing in Kimberly Lechnick. You'll find me there. But if you want the full link, it's linkedin.com/in/Kimberly/Lechnick/489-609-70/. And again, you can also just type in Kimberly Lechnick if you did not catch all of that or don't have a pen handy. But I can't wait to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. And thank you for sharing that, Kimberly. And you had a gift for our viewers and listeners too.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about getting to know ourselves, the importance of reflection, the importance of that needs assessment. Something else that's really, really important, and I don't think we give enough time to, is exploring our core values. As entrepreneurs, it's almost like something that we go through as an exercise, or at least most of us do. But some of us have never explored it. Well, it's an important part of the process of getting to know you, right? Because these can also change. These can also change. So I have a beautiful gift for you, and it's the Core Values Bundle and Worksheet Bundle. And I would love to give that to you. And again, have a conversation about what you experienced while you explored yourself in a deeper way.
And they're going to get that if they email you and put the Rise Above Show in the subject line and email Kimberly. And can you share your email address with them?
Absolutely. I would love to. It's intentional, intentional, pathways, pathways, letter D at gmail.com. Again, intentional pathways, letter D.com. Again, I can't wait to gift this to you because I'm really passionate about connecting heart to heart, but really being a guide and a support to those that are interested in starting this journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Kimberly, for the wonderful gift for our viewers and listeners. I'm Dr. Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist, and I have a gift for everybody who's watching too and listening. If you text the word growth, GROWTH, to 26786, and if you're outside the continental US, if you text it to 1-866-926-4020, within 24 hours of doing that, you're going to start having journaling prompts come to your phone for the next 30 days with introspective questions, so you get to know yourself better. And again, we're talking about habits and all these things. So, and everything you can find out about me right on my website. So I have an exit video for us here. And Kimberly, thank you so much for being with me. It's been wonderful having you. I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of the Rise Above Show. Life really isn't a problem to be solved, as it is a mystery to be lived. And we need to learn to live it to its fullest potential, living outside the box, not putting ourselves in that box or allowing other people to put us in there and keep us in there. There is no such thing as a box. Find out more at patriciajogrover.com. And I have a gift for you. If you text the word growth, GROWTH, to 26786, and if you're outside the continental US, text to 1-866-926-4020. Until next time, rise above the challenges that life bring your way and have a great day.